हेलो स्टूडेंट्स, आज हम करेंगे अपना आगे पेडोलॉजी ऑफ इंग्लिश में आगे का क्वेश्चन। चैप्टर फर्स्ट ही चल रहा है हमारा, पर ये इसकी वीडियो में हमारा चैप्टर फर्स्ट पूरा तरीके से कंप्लीट हो जाएगा। सो हम अपना क्वेश्चन नंबर 7 देखते हैं। व्हाट डू यू अंडरस्टैंड बाय द टर्म मदर टंग? हाउ कैन इट बी हेल्पफुल इन टीचिंग ऑफ इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज? So the mother tongue is an natural or the development of the man's mind as mother's milk is a development for the infant's body. M.K. Gandhi. So yeah, mother tongue is the language that a child learns from his mother. It helps a children in all kind of thinking by by Byrne remark of his book, The Teaching of English. Mother tongue is the basis of all the work. Communication of this language begins from infancy. The habit in the mother tongue are acquired unconsciously, and by the time as the children come to the age and become conscious, he has already learned his mother tongue and can express his ideas, feeling, and thoughts to the other people and can as well and understand theirs. It is a quite right when it is said that mother tongue is caught but not taught by a original language in the taught so that it can be caught. The practice of teaching English through the mother tongue is not new in India. In earlier times, Sanskrit was taught with the help of the mother tongue, and when English began to be taught in the later half of the 19th century, the English saw no reason to depart from the time-honored practice of teaching through the mother tongue. Justify the use of the mother tongue in the teaching of English language by one remarking if sufficient attention it pays to the teaching of a mother tongue, and if it is a total taught habit may be confirmed in the classroom, which will be of greatest value in the connection with the learning of English. It can thus be concluded that the use of mother tongue is helpful in learning English, but the mother tongue should be used catholics only whenever necessary and without becoming over dependent on it. The teaching of English and mother tongue at the initial stage. Children at the initial stage learn the thing. A English teacher should provide sufficient opportunity to his students to speak and write correct habits of speech and writing in the mother tongue provide in a background of forming correct speaking and writing habits in learning English. Teacher can use various teaching devices to develop speech habits. If the students receive proper attendance from their teacher, they will surely for correct habits in speech and writing. The teacher in the beginning can be introduced new words, phrases, idioms, and some simple patterns of sentences, etc., to the pupils, so that they may understand them. The teacher can provide peculiar sounds as found in the mother tongue can help them. Then ask the students to reproduce them according to the sound system of the foreign language. The teacher should continue creating such situation in the class in which the students may exhibit the acquisition of vocabulary and sentence pattern, etc. And the question number 8 is describe the important principle of acquiring a second language. A few important principles of acquiring a second language are as follows. We construct and reconstruct our knowledge. Gaining knowledge is not like getting the bucket of your mind filled up by the teacher. Rather, learner contract and recontact their knowledge through interaction with others and reflection. Therefore, to learn English, it is important to communicate orally as well as in writing with other as much as possible. Reflect on what you has been learned. Learning through expose. How you ever thought why many of us are poor in English? One of the main reasons for this is a lack of explore involvement. A language is never learned just by memorizing the grammatic rule. How did we learn our mother tongue? Chhattisgarhi or Hindi. Our parents and society around gave us an important environment atmosphere of the language, and the atmosphere enable us to be use the language. If we want our students to learn English, we should help them use the language for real communication. So, learning through use. A teacher is learned through receiving it actually and pronouncing it creatively through listening to English and reading it. If we receive the language while speaking the writing, we produce the language. Therefore, we can say listening and reading are receptive skill, whereas speaking and writing and productive skill. यहाँ पे रिसेप्टिव skill जिसमें हम रिसीव कर रहे हैं, जिसमें हम कुछ काम नहीं करते, सिर्फ हमें बैठ के आनंद लेना होता है, तो उसे बोलते हैं जैसे कि रिसेप्टिव स्किल। जैसे लिसनिंग सुनना या फिर पढ़ना अपने मजे में, हमें किसी से कोई मतलब नहीं। लेकिन जहाँ पे हम कुछ प्रोड्यूस कर रहे हैं, कुछ किसी को बता रहे हैं, किसी को कुछ बोल रहे हैं, तो क्या वो प्रोडक्टिव स्किल हो गया। जैसे कि राइटिंग, सोच के लिखते हैं, कुछ भी लिख रहे हैं तो हम, ठीक है, अपने अंदर माइंड में बना के ऐसे, या फिर आंसर होते हैं वो अपने माइंड में बना के लिखते हैं। और उसी तरीके क्या हो गया, स्पीकिंग, सोच समझ के बोलते हैं, ठीक है। लिसनिंग लेट्स टू द स्पीकिंग, लेट्स रीडिंग लेट्स टू राइटिंग, रिसेप्टिव स्किल्स लेट टू productive skills. At be good at English, we must listen to English, speak it with whatever English we have, read it and write it on our own, learning through context. Language is never used in a vacuum. It is the context or situation or purpose which decided the use of our language. This is why a good teacher never teaches language without a context or a purpose. Learning through activity. Learning is never passive. A child learns best when he is physically or mentally active. You must have observed the child love jumping, playing, talking, drawing, painting, singing, and whatnot. Moreover, learning by doing is considered to be one of the best way of learning. Therefore, never leaves the children as passive learners. Let us keep them meaningfully engaged in the process of the learning English through different activities. Learning through meaningful practice. An old saying goes, practice make a man perfect, but the fact is the mechanism practice leads now here. Therefore, the practice of the word or grammar should be done in several different contexts. Mother tongue help to learn other tongues. Many of us think that a mother tongue is a barrier to learn the second or the third language, but the concept found in a mother tongue are easily referred in other language we are learning of English to utilize their knowledge of mother tongue in learning English. Fluency is more important for children than accuracy. It is a crime to point out the mistake or error of the English learning learners ever know, and then we must let them us English without their being conscious or program or opportunity. We as a teacher or English, we must learn the art of art of welcoming, of accepting the error and mistake of an English learner. Remember, English tend to make more mistake when they are very conscious about correctness. Moreover, mistake and errors are an integral part of the learning. Cognitive competence first, linguistic competence later. The term communicative competence makes the knowledge about where and how to use the language. We must not forget that the purpose of the second language learned in the communication. If a child uses incorrect English by succeed in a communication, she must not be discouraged at all. She will really get the linguistic competence or correctness of the language in the process of learning. What are the aims of learning English in India? To develop language skill in children, or mention some of the aims of the learning English to develop language skills. At a general aims of teaching English at the primary and the middle level show that justification with a proper example. The aim and the objective of teaching English in India are quite different from the other countries, where the countries is mother tongue, practical command consist of reading, speaking, and writing correctness English so that it may be understood well. English has functionally utility in India, so it should be taught as a language and not as literature. Thompson and Watt are the same view about teaching of English in Indian students. According to the view of those writers, English has to follow four aim and objective. So we have strength learning, reading the four aims: to understand with written English, to understand spoken English, to speak is correctly, to write the English language correctly, to understand written English. The first most important task to English teacher is to enable the students to understand written English. For this is the student should be well acquainted with a lot of words and the formation of the sentence. Along with the habit of the rapid and the silent repetition of the following. Oral reading should be encouraged or correct pronunciation and enunciation. To understand spoken English, it is a difficult task. It is due to the following reason: elliptical usage, unfamiliarly annotation, peculiarly pronunciation, and the rate of spoken words. To speak correct English, children should be asked to speak and office honor so that due to courage of the time they will be able to speak English correctly and fluently. Most of the students cannot follow the written or spoken English as to the fail to quick correct English. They should teach English by speaking in English himself and ask the students to speak in English as well to acquire fluency. The following elements may help us develop a lot of vocabulary knowledge about English idioms, correct pronunciation and intonation, use of simple words by the teacher, meeting English speaking person, lecture, here lecture and the talks in eliminate person, use of audio visual aid to write correct English. It is very difficult aspect to learn English. First of all, the students to encourage to write simple sentences of things of a daily use in written. Uh, a language a student is expected to learn from the following things: formation of English, both capital and small, spelling of a words, selection of a proper words, construction of sentence correctly. The student should be asked to learn new words for they may be asked to write words on a special notebook so that they must be recalled and received again and again. Structure and sentence can be taught through structure patterns. The first structure should be subject plus verb plus as a god is. Later on, they have to ask to learn more complex structure that I mentioned from the four aims of the teaching. English are very important. All of them should be given equal weightage. Otherwise, it will lead to the top side development. So question number 10 है what are the curriculum expectation of the primary level? Curriculum expectation at the primary level. Children are expected to acquire the skill of listening, speaking, reading, writing, thinking, and integrated manner. Development personal communication skill. Attend basic proficiency like developing ability to express one's thoughts orally and writing in a meaningful way in the English language. Interrupt and understand instruction and polite from of expression and respond meaningfully both orally and in writing. Develop reference skill both printed and electronic mode. Acquire various range of vocabulary. Understand increase complex and sentence. Seventh, structure both in reading and writing. Express the awareness of the social and the environmental issue. Read an indifferent criteria and exceed in different contexts, including verbal and pictorial mode. क्वेश्चन नंबर 10 है हमारा एक्सप्लेन द सोशल एंड द सोशल पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू ऑफ इंग्लिश लर्निंग लैंग्वेज मल्टीलिंगुअल एजुकेशन प्रोवाइड मोनोलिंग्विस्टिक स्टूडेंट्स विद द अपॉर्चुनिटी टू लर्न अ सेकंड लैंग्वेज एंड बिकम bilingual. Bilingualism benefits various cognitive and social linguistic skills throughout the lifespan. Infants rise in the biological environment are precature more flexible than infants rise in monolingual environment. For example, when infants are shown silent videos of two people speaking a different language, bilingualism rise infants compared to bilingualism rise infants are better able to differentiate that the two people are speaking in different language even they have been exposed to this fact. This perspective flexibility seems to last into adulthood and might even make learning a third or fourth more language easier. Bilingual children have also been found to have a better understanding of a communicative function and grammatical convention of a language. Bilingual children develop an understanding of grammatical preschooler compared to their monolingual peer. Better understand that the speaker of the different language call object by different names. Bilingual preschoolers have also been found to be better able to name the language that they speak. Aside from the language related skills, learning to speak two language benefits cognitive skill like attention, inhabited, and switching as well as bilingualism. Children developed these kinds of convention skills earlier than their monolingualism peers. Bilingualism children develop these kind of cognition skill faster. Become bilingualism children are constant exercising their cognition skill each time they speak. Bilingualism children need to pay attention to with what language they are speaking, inhabited speaking in the other language, and switching from one language to the next, depending on who they are talking to. And this also seems to have lifelong consequences. Multilingual education can be beneficial all the students, not only academically during childhood, but also cognitively, social and linguistic across the lifespan. How we can see future home language. A home language is the language most commonly spoke to the memory of a family for everyday interaction at home. It is called the family language or the language of the home. Code switching. Code switching is a widely observed phenomenon, especially in multilingual and multicultural communities in ELT classroom. Classroom code switching into various either in the teacher of the student's disorder, although it is not favorable by the many educator. On one should have at least an understanding of function and switching between the native language and the original level, and they may underlining reason. The understanding will provide language teacher with a dedicated awareness of its use in classroom, discourage and will observe lead to the better of instruction by either eliminating it or dominating it. Its use different for original level instruction. While putting the phenomena of code switching in context, the function of code switching will be introduced in various aspects. Finally, its function is bilingual function setting will briefly be explained by the given example. Uh, Authentic conservation will help the reader to detect ideas about its possible application in education context. Secondly, the functionality of a code switching in teacher classroom discourage will be introduced to the aspect topic switching, effectiveness function, and the repetitive function. Thirdly, the focus will be shifted to children code switching by introducing some basic functional perspective, evidences of floor holding, retirement, and conflict control. Lastly, weak and strongest side of the code switching is foreign language class will be discussed with a critical approach. Question number 12, write the need of learning English. The objective of teaching learning has a two main aspects, namely language aspect like word sequence, pronunciation, spelling, and grammar. Are the other aspect being literature being the literature aspect while including words, sentences, expression, idioms, ideas, feeling, and expression in India, English is can be taught as a second language. There is a slight difference between the English and the original language. English is the second language. Original language is learned mainly is to know the culture and the living style of a people of another nation, whereas the second language is learned mainly to use the talent language to the society. The way that this way English has to be taught in India as a second language, but put in a simply, the teacher of English should be prepare the students to use English globally. It means they have to provide a proper platform for their students to use English language in any day-to-day situation. English has become inevitable in the school curriculum. It enjoys all the position like first, second, third, and language. English is the medium of instruction in all the English medium schools. Thus, English is the first language in the schools. In the other schools, English taught to be the second language in non-Hindi northern state. like Gujarat, Maharashtra, West Bengal, Odia, their regional language is the first language, Hindi is the second language, and English is the third language. As English ensure all the three positions in the academic field, there will be not be anybody who completes his study in India not acquiring with English. According to the Professor Gaidnally, there are two general aims. First, learning the language. Second, doing something with the language when it is learned, which means understanding the language spoken or written or expression on thoughts, feeling, and ideas in speech as well as in reading. The aims of teaching English is to make a student understand when spoken, speak comprehensively English, write English, and comprehends the context, can translate from English to vernacular language and vice versa, write English with logical consequence. Question number 13 is what are the aim of teaching English at a primary level? English is spreading its wings far and wide for the globe. It is not being exaggerated to say that there cannot be any place on the earth which is not influenced by English. Increased number of users of English is a testimony or to its importance. It goes deep into different society by its range of society. Consider the benefits that we get from English. It is a mandatory for the people of India, especially right from the primary level, to learn English. Besides, learning English helps us to face the global challenges. There is no field in the world which is no pretended by the use of computer. Relying on the use of computer stimulates the learning of English. In Indian system of student education, primary students are expected to take at least five subjects. Aim of the English at a primary level to learn English helper to understand simple statement be spoken to acquire English at a read at least some simple words to gain acquire vocabulary to provide to produce simple sentences to understand simple question and to the answer to identify the object by their name to read and understand small stories and incidents to write English legible and practice the four style of writing. ऑब्जेक्टिव क्वेश्चंस करेंगे हम इसका कुछ तो सबसे पहले तो बताना है लर्निंग ऑफ इंग्लिश एज अ सेकेंड लैंग्वेज इज कन्फाइंड टू लिंग्विस्टिक एबिलिटीज ये क्या बताता है हमारे एबिलिटीज को बताता है द स्पेसिफिक एम ऑफ टीचिंग इंग्लिश में ऑल्सो बी नोन एज ऑब्जेक्टिव the mother tongue plays an important role in the mental and the intellectual development of a child. To know a new language, it's urgent that the learner know it socially. What is not correct among the following point it refers to a mother tongue in teaching. तो इसमें कौन सा गलत है सही नहीं है तो लर्निंग बाय इमिटेशन हाँ सीखते हैं हम मिक्स अपॉर्चुनिटी अच्छी तरीके से डिस्ट्रिक्ट मैंने अगर बोलोगे सिर्फ इंग्लिश को इंग्लिश में ट्रांसफर करना है तो सीख सकते हो आसानी से लर्निंग बाय सिचुएशन कुछ नहीं होती आपको एनवायरनमेंट चाहिए होता है ना कि सिचुएशन फाइंड आउट द फाइंड आउट द ओरिजिनल लैंग्वेज आउट ऑफ द फॉलोइंग तो तमिल बोलते हैं हमारे यहाँ हिंदी बोलते हैं उर्दू बोलते हैं इंग्लिश क्या है हमारे लिए ओरिजिनल लैंग्वेज है मेन कॉज ऑफ डाउनफॉल ऑफ द स्टैंडर्ड ऑफ इंग्लिश इन करिकुलम तो क्या क्या ओवर क्राउडेड इन क्लास मतलब दिक्कत क्यों होती है इंग्लिश पढ़ने में ज़्यादातर बच्चे होते क्लास के अंदर नो ट्रेड्स ऑफ लर्निंग नहीं होती पीरियड ऑल ऑफ द अबव आएगा इंग्लिश इज अवर इंटरनेशनल लेवल इंटरनेशनल लैंग्वेज है ठीक है इंग्लिश की हमारी इंटरनेशनल लैंग्वेज है सो ये हमारा पूरा चैप्टर कंप्लीट हो गया यही थी हमारी बुक और हमारा पहला चैप्टर था टीचिंग ऑफ इंग्लिश एट अ एलिमेंट्री स्कूल जब हम इंग्लिश पढ़ाते हैं एलिमेंट्री स्कूल में तो क्या कहते हैं चीज़ें थी इसमें इस पूरी वीडियो में और इसके पीछे वाली वीडियो में अच्छी तरीके से पूरा कंप्लीट हो गया है नहीं समझ आया तो प्लीज़ कमेंट में बताइए और किस पर वीडियो बनानी है या अगेन बनानी है तो मैं अच्छे से एक्सप्लेन करके बताऊँगी अभी तो फिलहाल रीडिंग करी है हमने तो उस नेक्स्ट वीडियो में मैं और अच्छे से एक्सप्लेन करके बताऊँगी थैंक यू